Suzume is the latest film by director Makoto Shinkai. Now, he took the world by storm with his international hit Your Name in 2016. So I also saw Wuthering With You, which was okay. But this one is about Suzume. She is a 17-year-old high school student who meets a stranger. He asks her about where the ruins are, so she decides to skip school and follow him and finds a weird door in the ruins, messes about with some stuff, and ends up allowing an incursion of a giant worm-like entity, agent of chaos from another world. She helps this stranger, Suta, shut the door and finds out he is a closer, and the two of them go on a road trip to close more gates as the entity tries to come through into our world. So this movie's pretty good. The first half is a little bit episodic and repetitive, very similar to a video game where they go to a new area, meet new characters, find a new gate, new boss level. It's only about till the halfway point till we get to a sort of narrative twist that sort of changes things a little bit. I really enjoyed the film. Like the movie has like some sort of some special tropes of that Makoto Shinkai does, like YA novel-like story, a little bit of romance, supernatural event, you know, some trauma going on, you know, standoffs and stuff like that with a parent. Very, you know, he likes his rain, he likes his gorgeous animation, and but I just feel like even though I enjoyed the movie, I thought it was very emotional. The second half definitely gets more serious and gets more introspective. It becomes a sort of coming of age story, sort of dealing with guilt and grief sort of storyline, which I really liked. But what really sort of holds things back from being, you know, a super classic is that the movie is a little bit familiar and safe. Makoto Shinkai made a lot of money with Your Name, and this movie sort of feels like an amalgamation of Your Name and Wuthering With You. So, you know, now these apparently these three films are part of a sort of informal trilogy. So we're hoping that the next movie he has isn't the same, you know, it kind of feels like he's sort of running through the same familiar ground. You know, you got a teenage female protagonist doing things, supernatural event, a little bit of romance, some sidekicks. This movie still is very charming though. It has really great side characters like the aunt and Sarazawa. He pretty much steals the show. And the movie manages to balance humor, adventure, friendship. And it's very emotional at the end, so even though the movie is very familiar, it's still a really strong production from the filmmaker. You know, he makes a very broad sort of crowd-pleasing kind of movie, and I like that aspect. So even though if some of the tropes are there and some of the, you know, his signature touches are all over the place, it's still a pretty solid film overall. So I give Suzume a 7.5 out of 10.